Hi guys, I'm Naveen. Welcome back to the YouTube channel Data Dragon. In this YouTube channel, I'll be talking about data engineering, data analytics, and AI. So, I am not a professional, but I'll be discussing and putting out based on my knowledge. And please do feel free to correct me if in case I go wrong, and we can just learn together and grow together as a community. So let's start by learning about Azure Data Factory, which is a basic tool any data engineer from junior to senior would use to create data pipelines and to orchestrate it, because it supports lot of data sources and you can build a lot of data pipelines, variety of data pipelines with each. And I'll be creating a complete playlist discussing the most fundamental to most advanced topics. So if in case I miss something, please do let me know in the comments. So I will be uh, in case I don't know that, I'll just learn and explain in a better way. And yeah, let's get started. So to begin with, I'll be introducing the Azure Data Factory and some foundations and some definitions. Will be going through this and we'll learn how to create the ADF workspace, and then core building blocks, and the next video integration runtimes, activities, parameterizations, triggers, on-prem migration, CDC, and every um, topic in ADF. So to begin with, what is an ADF? ADF is full Microsoft fully managed cloud scale data integration service. So it's a basic purpose is we can move data, transform data, orchestrate, and schedule it when to run, and what how the workflow should go, like in case of it succeeded, or if in case it failed, how it has to behave. So you can have complete control over that, and it is very easy to use as you'll not be managing any servers. It is completely managed by Microsoft. That is why it's called serverless, meaning that doesn't mean it doesn't have any servers. It has servers, but managed by Microsoft, and it's a low code. So even the beginners can easily learn and build simple pipelines in no time, and it is scalable, and you just need to pay as per you use. So currently I was using a free Azure tier, so we can just go to cost management. It gives us how much actually it is taking to run, and I think it gives us at least 200 credits. So yeah, so we discussed about what is ADF, and I'll be dropping this, and you can just copy this into your own workspace, and you can just you use this as a notebook. So one of the fundamental uh, term is ETL and ELT. So ETL is like nothing but the E and T, and L is extract, transform, and load. It depends on how you use it. Example, if your target is an API, or in that case, you extract the data, transform it before loading it into that endpoint. Also, if the endpoint is SQL, as you can see, so there you can't perform. You don't have much freedom to perform the transformation. So in that case, you transform before loading it into the target location. In ELT is where I think mostly uh, pipelines are, and also it depends on the business to business. So in ELT, we extract from a particular source, load it in our target or in our uh, wherever we want, and then we perform different transformations. So this happens when during an on-premises pipeline, where you get data from that SQL database, which is in sitting in on-prem, and load it in your ADLS location and use Databricks to perform different activities and make different uh, transformations on the data. And yeah, ADF supports both ELT, ETL, and hybrid patterns. And how does ADF fits? Because in modern data architecture, modern data engineering, any data pipeline deals with data storage, distributed computes, real-time events, serverless orchestration, and lakehouse architecture. So you can do anything in ADF. So coming to, for example, if you perform an ingestion task, you can move data from databases, SaaS systems, on-premise data source, APIs, file systems, and if you want to transform it, you can have mapping, data flows, data breaks, and store procedures and SQL scripts and orchestration. You have chain activities, handles dependencies. You can handle dependency. You can manage retries, like how many times it should retry before throwing an alert or something like that. You can send alerts and integrate with triggers. Like if you're working on event-based pipelines, you will definitely know what is triggers is. If you want to know how to build a pipeline, event-driven pipeline, you can also find it in our YouTube channel. And now coming to a quick comparison between ADF, Synapse, and Fabric. So in ADF, it is best for ingestion and orchestration because Synapse only uh, allows Synapse workflows, and Fabric has only Lakehouse workflows, meaning it has its own one lake. So, and self-hosting integration runtime, meaning you can connect on-prem DB in ADF and Synapse. Also, you can connect an on-prem. In case of Fabric, maybe by now they might bought this feature because Fabric is came into the market recently. As you can see, its maturity is very new, a couple of years. Synapse, it's been for a while, and ADF is for a longer time. And connectors, you have more than 100 connectors both in Synapse and ADF, whereas Fabric has very limited. Um, Best use case is when you want to create an hybrid pipelines for the Synapse, of course, Synapse native, and for this Lakehouse modern pipelines. And what are the different types of pipelines often used in data engineering? One is batch ingestion, event-driven pipeline. Of course, we have a streaming pipeline and hybrid integrations, large-scale migration, and orchestration of complex pipelines, calling APIs, running notebooks, scripts, and all. And coming to Azure basics, what is we should learn, we should know what is Azure Storage. Like it is a cloud storage and it is fully managed by Azure, and based on your requirement you have to carefully select what type of container you want. Like is it an hot tier, cold tier, based on that. So blobs, containers, and hierarchical namespaces. So if you enable the hierarchical namespace for a blob container, it is Azure Data Lake Storage, and Blob basically allows any form, any not in any form in the sense any form within CSV, JSON, format, or Parquet, and images, logs, just similar to AWS S3. And containers, think of it as a folder to hold all your blob files. And SQL databases are also Microsoft Cloud Managed Relational Databases, and it is again fully managed by Microsoft, and it is scalable, highly available, supports T-SQL, connects natively to ADF, and it's good for small data models, lookup tables, configuration tables, transactional workloads, and staging smaller data sets. And firewall, network, and authentication. So firewalls, SQL blocks all the external traffic by default. You must allow Azure services, specific IPs, and virtual networks. And authentication, you can have key-based authentication, access keys, SaaS tokens, service principal, managed identity. And networking, it supports private endpoints, VNet integration, and on-premise connectivity via SHIR. So now let's see how we can create a new data factory. So first you have to create a resource group and of course a storage account, and then you go here and search for data factory and you hit create, and you assign a resource group over here whichever you want, and you provide a name. And for version control you enable uh, git over here, and it supports Azure DevOps or GitHub, and you can just provide that GitHub account, repo name, batch name, and root folder. And networking, it supports like private and public endpoints. For now we'll just only go for public endpoint, and advanced it's like encryption and review and create. So after we review and create, you'll be just going to this particular, you have to wait a certain time for this to deploy, and after that you'll find this and you launch. This is how you create. It's so simple to create a workspace over here, and you have home and author to create a pipeline, and monitor to monitor your um, pipelines and trigger runs and CDCs, and you can just manage your linked service, integration runtimes, Microsoft Purview and all. So that's it for this video, and let's discuss more about ADF in the next video. And practically, I'll try to as explain as much as possible in practical. Yeah, have a good day. See you in the next one.